Hello, beautiful sky watchers. Get ready for the solar eclipse in the sign of Aries the Ram on April 8th at 6:17 p.m. And that's tropical astrology. We're using universal time coordinated. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. Now, this is specifically a total eclipse with a totality of concealment completely covering the rays of sunlight. And the sun will be in an eclipse when Aries new moon passes betwixt the earth and the sun, thus blocking out all sunlight from the perspective of sky gazers and star watchers like you in central Mexico, San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas, Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and central Arkansas. Also, this wonderful, we're talking about people that will be able to see a totality eclipse, okay? The totality of it, not just portions of it. Also, there's other places also. Okay, so we said southeastern Oklahoma, central Arkansas, southeastern Missouri and Illinois, central Indiana, northern and central Ohio, upstate New York, northern and central Maine, and then in Canada we have Toronto, Montreal. We also have going on, we have central New Brunswick and Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, the exact moment of this April's new moon this year is 3 minutes after the solar eclipse at 6:20. That's 6:20 p.m. Universal Time Coordinated. Guardian angels to invoke for the solar eclipse are the planetary Archangel of the Sun, being the Archangel Michael, the mighty Archangel Michael. And also, this is for the Sun. The Sun rules over the sign of Leo. But this isn't for that. This is because of the sun. Michael's the planetary archangel of the sun. They used to call the sun a planet. It's one of the 7 ancient planets like the moon. So that's Michael, his planetary aspect, okay? Now also, the Zodiac Angel to invoke will be the Zodiac Angel of Aries the Ram. And this is the Archangel Melchidael. And Magick has a lot of attributes similar to Michael. Even the word is a little bit similar, Magick, but there are some differences. Now, evocations of Archangel Michael is going to provide for you protection, success, and also some forms of healing if you need to become the kinds of things that a solar energy will give you. And that's going to be a strengthening of your constitution of the entire body. Now, specifically for evocations of the Zodiac Angel Melchidael, this is going to endow you with courage, more specifically to Aries. And those are more Mars energies, okay? Because Mars is the ruler of Aries. Now, so this is a solar eclipse in Aries with a new moon in Aries, okay? So the evocations of Melchidael, the Zodiac Angel, endowed with courage, strength, so the bravery, the energy, the power, and a competitive edge. So this gives you, Melchidael, a competitive edge. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of force with this eclipse and this particular Aries new moon. The planetary Archangel Michael's tarot card is the tarot card of the sun. This is the Rider-Waite deck. So the sun is a tarot card. You're going to want to utilize and invoke for any evocation you want to do to bring in these energies that we talked about. And the Hebrew letter that is associated with the sun card and with planetary aspect of the Archangel Michael is the Hebrew letter Resh. And Resh is about, it means front of the head. It's consciousness. It's the cerebral cortex. It's the consciousness or conscious thought, all the intelligence, okay? What you're conscious of. And the magical incantations in Psalms, the book of Psalms, for the letter Resh are found in Psalm 119, verses 153 to 160. And this is from the Webster Bible translation. Consider my affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget thy law. Plead my case, plead my cause, and deliver me, revive me according to thy word. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not thy statutes. Great are thy tender mercies, O Lord, revive me according to thy judgments. Many are my persecutors and my enemies, yet I do not decline from thy testimonies. I beheld the transgressors, and I was grieved, because they kept not thy word. Consider now, I love thy precepts. Revive me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness. Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. Okay, now this is, in these psalms that are associated with the Hebrew letters, again, this one is for Resh, okay? There are magical powers in each of these Hebrew letter sections of Psalms, okay? Of the book of Psalms in the Old Testament, okay? So if you read it in Hebrew, it would be even more magical, because there are magical, and there are magical powers, and they're associated with things like in lunar mansions and astrology. They're associated with those kinds of things, okay? So just understand that, and you can feel it, and you can read it, and you don't have to worry about if you're a different religion or something, because it's the vibrational tones, it's the energies that you're invoking. You're invoking the energies of the sun for this, and the Archangel Michael. So if you are of the DNA of, whatever your DNA is, that's what you should really focus on. Because, if you're born into a Jewish family, then using Hebrew would be very powerful, because your DNA is going to resonate with that language, that's your ancestry, your DNA. The name of God, H.O.A.F, and all the permutations for the Zodiac signs and the tribes of Israel, those are basically the 4 building blocks of DNA. That's the secret name of God. That's what it is. It's the 4, that's what it is, okay? So understand that. And then you'll understand too that if you're of a different language and heritage, reading it in your language is going to bring more energy to you. But even the Old Testament is based upon astrology, and all astrology is based upon more ancient astrology, and they all go back to Chinese astrology. Okay, so just understand that, because and it's been changed in order to, everybody takes their own culture and their own area where they live, and they use the animals that were in their area and made it more according to how the animals behaved in their area during certain phases of the moon, and phases of, and also when certain constellations are up, and what sun sign you were, and all the planetary aspects. But what I'm saying is, if you go back far enough, it all goes back to one Atlantean mother religion and language. And then, as you know, things in Tower of Babel, things were confused so that people could not become too strong. And then, as you understand, that people scattered. So using what feels comfortable to you in your DNA, it doesn't have to be something you think you are. It's what you feel comfortable with, and what makes you feel like this fits with me and makes you feel more powerful. That's how you should use it. Use it in a language. Read it in a language that is going to correspond with you. Okay? And that will help you. Now, going on to Melchidael. Zodiac Angel Melchidael's tarot card is the Emperor card, because Melchidael is a Zodiac Angel of Aries, and Aries, the Emperor card is for Aries, because you see there's a ram here, and there's mountains. He's wearing red, and he's a warrior. There's a benevolent king, there's a soldier, a warrior king. Okay, this is more of a warrior that is courage and competitive edge and being able to fight, and the strength and the power. That's from Mars, okay? And that kind of iron will. So this is for Melchidael, the Zodiac Angel of Aries. The Hebrew letter associated with the Emperor and with Melchidael and with Aries is He. He. And the magical, that's the Hebrew letter, He. The magical incantations in Psalms for the letter He are found in Psalms 119, verses 33 to 40. In the Webster Bible translation, we have, "Teach me, O Lord, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it to the end. Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law. Yes, I shall observe it with all. I shall observe it with my whole heart. Make me to go in the path of thy commandments, for in that do I delight. Incline my heart to thy testimonies, and not to thy covetousness. Turn away my eyes from beholding vanity, and revive thou me in thy way. Establish thy word to thy servant, who is devoted to thy fear. Turn away my reproach, which I fear, for thy judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Revive me in thy righteousness. Okay, so that's for the letter He, the Hebrew letter He. Now, the Hebrew letter Resh, I told you, it means it means the front of the head. It's a conscious mind, okay? Whereas the Hebrew letter He is more, the Hebrew letter He has to do with the word behold, okay? Like Yud He Vav He. So it has to do with, like the Yud means hand in the name of God. Yud He, He means behold, or window to look at, behold. Valve is the nail, He, behold the hand and the nail. So that goes into the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So that's where these things are connected. Now, just I understand that there are differences between the Old Testament and the New Testament, and where the Old Testament, they tell you to honor your parents if you want to live long and prosper, to honor your parents, and I believe the 5th commandment of Moses. In the New Testament, Jesus says in Mark to hate your parents and hate your children and hate your brother. They talk about brotherly love in movies about Christianity. It doesn't say that. It says hate your brother, to love Jesus, but hate your brother, hate your family. It says that. So this would be a direct contradiction to the commandment of Jehovah to honor your family, where Jesus says to love your enemies. Jehovah would destroy your enemies, and instructed Moses to destroy the children and the animals and even the infants in the Old Testament. Okay? So understand that. They're diametrically opposed. Now the reason is, this is an exercise for the mind, because these are all related actually. The Bible is like the Noah's Ark family, that story, that's related to the I Ching. And the Chinese I Ching, which has 8 trigrams, and there's 8 family members in the Chinese systems, and they have the 8 trigrams like mountain and lake and heaven and all of that. Okay, there's 8 of them, and they match with father and mother and oldest son and oldest daughter and middle son and middle daughter and youngest son and middle daughter, youngest daughter. Like lake is youngest daughter, father is heaven, that kind of thing. So understand that they took all these understandings and these computations. It's like a computer. The Chinese system is kind of it's like a computer, but the trigrams that you turn into hexagrams for the I Ching. And what happens is the Noah's Ark family directly relates to the stories that are from the trigrams and in the I Ching. Okay? So, and there are 2 forms of it. There's the original Lao Tzu wrote the I Ching, and then later on, where King Wen came and changed it around. Now, originally for Lao Tzu, he had the male hexagram of 2 trigrams, okay, directly diametrically opposite, polar opposite to the complete female hexagram. The male hexagram 6 solid lines, the female hexagram 6 broken lines, and 1 and 64 equals 10, 1 0 10. Okay, they were polar equal in power opposites. Then King Wen came in and moved that one to the second position. He moved the female to the second position so that she would be subjugated. That's like when the first wife of Adam, Lilith, that would be the one they would consider polar opposite, or evil if you want. To a man it's evil, to a woman a man is evil, to a man a woman is evil, whatever. So take the word evil out, it might, but diametrically opposed opposites, okay? And he had to divorce, he had to divorce Lilith, and they brought Eve in so that she could be submissive because Lilith would not be submissive. So and when that happened, when King Wind did that, that happened all over the world. All over the world. That's when all the stories changed because they're connected. They're all connected. So what you have actually going on with the New and the Old Testament is that the Old Testament gives you certain rules like honor your family and then destroy your enemy. And then the New Testament gives you hate your family and hate your children, hate your mother, hate your father, hate your brother, hate your sister. That's what Jesus commands. And love your enemy. Completely the opposite. So what is that? That's thesis, antithesis, synthesis. We have to find synthesis between the two. It's a, what's that, the Hegelian dialectic, I think, where it's an exercise for the mind. We have two opposites, and then you find where they meet in the synthesis in the middle. So that's where these things, how you have to use it's to make your mind, it's to make you think. It's like doing math with situational math, kind of. It's like doing problems, but you're doing it in a emotional or in a political way. You have the Democrats and the Republicans, and you end up with independents in the middle, and you try to figure all this stuff out. And what are they figuring out? They're figuring out allocation of goods and monies and food and this and that and the other thing and housing and law. Who's able to do what? What's okay? What's not okay? So, and the Talmud is full of laws for every little thing. And sometimes that's helpful. When it's very specific, then it's easier to make it so that so the law is appropriate for each situation. When it's precise enough, then the law will be more the spirit of the law that's meant for the good of everybody involved, and not just the letter of the law where some people might get hurt if it's too harsh or not harsh enough. So this is where, people say that, if you believe this, you can't believe that. Oh, that's ridiculous. Because if you're doing that, then you cut things off from your life so much, you end up with nothing. People end up where they think they can't talk to anybody or study anything because they're terrified they're going to see something that's going to contradict something they believe. It's better to look at all these things, all these other religions, all these other philosophies, and study all these things and churn it in your mind and do these sorts of calisthenics, mental calisthenics, so that you can exercise your mind, so that you can be someone who can think and you can discuss these things intelligently and not be afraid to look at other people's cultures, religions, philosophies, and laws and how they live their lives and find where they meet. Because in reality, humans, when they get right down to it, find that they want the same things. They love their families. They want to take care of their families. They want to work. They want to take care of their family and work, and that's what they want to do. And they want to have the opportunities to take better care of their families and better care of their homes. Most people have the same goals. So that, listening to other people's points of view enables you to, and it's, when you're screaming at each other, it's hard to really hear what other people are saying. It's better to have a calm conversation and actually listen to what they're saying and find where there's agreement and where there's difference, and then you can find out where the differences are and why they're there, and are they just a difference in culture that's just a flavor, or are they actually a difference that might be harmful to another culture? This is where, but it's good to talk about it. It's good to chew on it and stir it up and figure it out and have everybody involved calmly so that these things can be figured out, because the world's connected now. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's getting more and more populated, and we better figure it out before this is Year of the Dragon, before Year of the Snake. Next year, 2025, better figure it out. Because most wars that America got involved, when America got involved, when the USA got involved, it was during Year of the Snake. Okay? 9/11 happened during Year of the Snake. And if memory serves, yeah, it did. It happened during Year of the Snake. Okay. So thanks for joining us. Join us again next time. We'll see you soon.